Hi friends. I get a lot of resistance around food journals. So let me tell you why I prescribe food journals and how food journals are different than a food log. So first of all, a food log might feel more like Weight Watchers, right? Where you're putting down the time, the amount, you're weighing, you're measuring, you're writing out very data-driven information, right? What is it? How many macros were in it? All of that silliness. So you're really taking just the data from what you're eating and putting it on paper or putting it in an app or something like that. So that's a food log. So that's different than a food journal. So I want you to think about your journal, your dear diary, that place where you write things down that maybe you need to work through or you just need to get them out of your head. What about that place that you are writing things that, you just need to kind of work through and get them onto paper? That's your journal, your diary. So we're going to take that concept and we're going to apply it to your food logging, right? And it now becomes a food journal. So the reason that I love a journal is because it helps to keep you on track. It helps to motivate you. It also helps to give you insight. So a lot of times we tend to shut down around our food habits. For example, when you go to the movies and you buy that jumbo bucket of popcorn, you're probably not paying too much attention to how much of that popcorn is gone until your hand touches the bottom. You're busy. You're watching the movie. You're paying attention to things that are going around you, the loud talker down the aisle from you, whatever is going on, right? So the popcorn itself is really just kind of, something that's there taking up space during the movie. It's not the reason you go to the movies. I mean, well, for me, it kind of is, but it's not really the reason you go to the movies, right? So most of our habits throughout the day are kind of like that popcorn. We're just eating lunch because it's lunchtime and that's what we're supposed to do. You're making choices about food, like what's for dinner? What can I get on the table in 20 minutes or less? Not really about how that food is going to make you feel or how it's going to show up later. Are you going to have indigestion? Is it going to be too much food? Is it going to be not enough, so then you go snacking later on? So we really move through a lot of our habits around food in a very automatic way. So this is the reason that I love to prescribe a food journal. It's not something you have to do every day, although to be fair, I always have a journal somewhere pretty close. I may not log an entire day or an entire week, but it's there for those times when I need it. It's a good tool for helping you to narrow in on the things that aren't working for you, okay? So when you are writing down what's going on in your day and what you ate as a reflection of your moods, your energy that you have, just the brain space you have around meals, you really get a lot of information from that journal just by writing it down. So what are you going to put in this journal? Well, you're going to put a basic idea of when, right? So what kind of day is it? Is it a day where you're very busy? Is it a work day, an off day? What's happening around the time in your day? Is it breakfast? Is it breakfast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? So get a good sense of when, because when we make our food choices plays a lot into why we choose things and what we choose, right? The other thing that you're going to put in there are going to be the thoughts and feelings and emotions around what's happening. Okay, so it might be, like I said, it might be a work day and you're just eating because it was time to eat. So you might not write down, I just ate because it was time to eat, but you might notice as you go back and reflect on this journal that every day at 11:15 you're eating lunch, but then you're actually hungry later in the day. So you'll start to notice patterns when you're doing this food journal. The other thing that you're going to put in there is just what you're eating. It doesn't need to be perfectly portioned and weighed and measured and fit into little boxes that are color-coded. It's literally just, what is it that you ate? Did you have pizza? Did you have macaroni and cheese? Was it homemade? Was it from a box? What were the things that you were choosing to do on that day? And then lastly, you're going to put in maybe some hunger cues, right? Was I hungry? Was I eating when I wasn't hungry? Was I really, really, really starving? And so I ate a whole bunch. So, things that come along with it. Stress. Are you prone to stress eating? You're going to write down if you're noticing that you were stressed when you were eating. Other things that you might put in there are if you notice any physical sensations, like you have indigestion or some kind of GI distress. What is your hunger quotient? How hungry are you on that hunger fullness scale? Anything that's maybe relevant at the time. Is it the holidays? Is it summer? What's going on for you? What's going on in your world? And then perhaps you're even going to put down, how did it taste? What was the texture like? Getting really deep with these observations. You don't have to write a novel. Literally taking 2 minutes around mealtime first gives you that break, and then also gives you that opportunity to maybe tune in and be more mindful while you're actually eating. And then the very, very last thing that you could or could not put in there would be your energy level, right? How is your energy today? Are you feeling, really dragging? Does it reflect in the things that you write down? So you can see that a food journal is way different than a food log. Food log is data driven. It makes you feel like you're separating yourself from your food, makes you feel triggered, and it's really not very helpful. It doesn't matter whether you had a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of cereal. That in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't matter. The things that matter are the emotions, the feelings, the sensations. Are you using all of your senses as part of your meals, as part of your mindfulness? So that is why I prescribe food journals, especially when you start working with me, because it's so helpful to get that deeper insight. And because it's really just nice to have that tangible piece of paper, or even an app that you take pictures and you can go back and you can scroll. You can start to look for patterns. You can start to look for ways in which you were really successful. So a food journal is not punishment. It is not just a kind of a useless tool to just mark time with. It is actually something that's going to help you improve that relationship you have with food just by creating a little bit of insight. Just like your diary was probably your best friend when you were 10, 11, 12 years old, your food journal is going to really be there for you when you need it, so that you can really work on improving that relationship that you have with your body and with the food that you're putting into it. That's all I have for today. I will see you again in another video soon. Please make sure that you like and subscribe if you like these videos, so that you never miss one and you get to hang out with me and work on improving your relationship with your food, improving your relationship with yourself, and just really empowering yourself to feel better. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.